Hello, Ultimate fans around the U.S. and around the world. Welcome to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as the All-Star Ultimate Tour takes on Philly's Green Means Go. This game and broadcast brought to you by Eric and 5 Ultimate. I am Topher Davis. You can tweet at me during this game at Real Topher Davis if you have questions, comments, and concerns. And you can also tweet at my broadcasting partner, Andrea. Did you say your last name again?
DeSabito.
Thank you. I'm glad I didn't butcher that right off the bat. So, Andrea, you're our local expert today. What are we going to expect from the Philly team?
So the Green Means Go team this year is pretty young. They have lots of women still in college, about 9 players still in college. Some of them playing their first club with Green Means Go. So lots of excitement surrounding club and the season. They're a very fast team. They want to learn a lot this season.
I've heard of their speed down there, and I'm wondering, how did those 9 spots get open? Was there a big exit from a lot of the older players last year, or what's going on?
There's a few returners. Some that are still in college also played last year, so they were pretty young then too. They did have a few people retire and move on. Kerry Dorco, one of their notable alum.
And it looks like Green Means Go is going to start out on defense. The All-Stars on offense. All-Star offensive line out there is Aaron Schrader, Jacqueline Verjou, Jessie Schaffner, Lisa Pitt-Caithley, Haley Walrus, Kate Scarth, and Alika Johnston. They've been running that as their offensive line for a couple games now, basically from Atlanta and D.C., and it's been very effective for them. 2 real big wins, and this is going to be their 3rd game after a brief break in Colorado.
Have you seen them have any trouble when they're traveling? Long bus rides, lots of travel stay, or are they pretty good and used to it at this point?
I think they've been pretty good and used to it. The Colorado game was certainly the toughest, the longest drive that we had in one stint. And whether it's the altitude or coming before a tournament or what it was, they had a tough time at that game. But since then, it's been smooth sailing. And we see that offensive play that they normally do. Jacqueline Verjou going for Schaffner. She pulls up, unable to bring it down.
Looked like zone from Green Means Go to start, which is an interesting choice by them. First point of the game.
What works on the mishuck. Now Ross trying to shoot deep immediately. Finds her teammate on the sideline. A lot of players out there. Back to Ross. And again, she stretches to the end zone. A battle in the end zone, and Jacqueline Verjou gets a hand on the disc. Looks like
Joanne Burgess was the intended receiver on that play.
And no call. And I can't say I'm surprised from Philly coming out the back. They said they wanted to throw it deep to their fast players, and so far they've been true to their word. The All-Stars offense with a second opportunity. Pitt-Caithley on the sideline. Gets around to Verjou. She holsters that huck as Johnson had space, but maybe doesn't want to do it. And great catch by Schaffner, laying out to get that in the middle of the field. Her and Walrus play some give and go. And Schaffner reaches around for the backhand break. Great read by Scarth in between 2 players. And in the midst of the confusion, she's able to find Pitt-Caithley. And a couple problems after the first point. Few turns, but they get it. And Lisa Pitt-Caithley is driving the team on the van all the way to the sideline.
I see some roses in their hands. Do you know what the story is behind that?
You can see some roses on the goal line. Yeah, good call. That's a tradition that they've started. I heard it was a carryover from U23 in London's. Roses are just something to bring out to a player who's done an exceptionally good job, and just a nice way to give credit and recognition so all the fans know that the sideline players really appreciated what someone on the field had done. And then pretty exciting first point. Both teams looking to stretch the deep game. which is always exciting to watch. The All-Stars are able to connect, and we get a first look at the Green Mean Go O-line, and who are we looking out for on this line?
We have Danielle Byers. Nicole Smith, the captain, number 23. She's going to be the primary handler on their offense. She played at Penn State. She's played on a few women's teams and mixed teams in the area, Blue Root and AMP. And Katie Ryan, number 12, the one running down the field first. She's one of their main cutters. She's great in the air, very dynamic player and cutter.
Well, Smith with the disc gets a big break upwind. Gained a lot of yards. Not upwind, upfield, excuse me. A lot of yards to Gorman. She goes back to Smith. Now in the center of the field, keeping moving it around. Byers with the disc. Give and go up line, and a pick is called. As Amel Awadel Kareem tries to go up line. Hannah Leathers is marking her, calls the pick. Play stops briefly.
Connects with Elaine Saylor. Looking for the dump to Byers, and I think Carolyn Norville got a hand on that.
Yeah, she did. Great defense on the dump. Carolyn Normal playing in her hometown today. I'm sure the fans will be excited to see her do well, and she gets unmarked, but there's a call. There's a reason that she doesn't have a defender on her. It looked like a pick a couple throws back. As Danielle Byers is able to catch up, get that position back. And a little discussion about where the disc should be coming in. Looks like it's coming in stalling 3 at Sturt on the sideline. Sturt centers to Lim. Throw and go up the sideline with Lim and Cousins. It's back to Lim, and she sends a blade looking for Beck Brereton. It floats, and Brereton gets the read, lands on her defender, but keeps possession of the disc. Brereton is the Australian player, the international tourist today. She is a strong, strong player in the air.
So is her matchup there, Katie Ryan. She does not often get jumped over there, but it was a nice play by both of them.
Like we said, Green Means Go was stated that they really want to kind of test their athletic receivers and their big throws. So I hope that we get to see a matchup like that later on in this game. And me, oh my, that was a break goal for the All-Stars. Now up 2-0 as they score the first 2 points of the game. Doesn't appear to be too much change up in the Green Means Go O-line. Still have Smith out there. And Byers. That pull goes out of bounds. Looks like it'll be taken up to the brick. 20 yards in front of the goal line. This gets tapped in the center of the field with Smith to the sideline. High count situation. Tries to go inside across the field. Leathers is there, and great play by Hannah Leathers, and she strikes immediately going for Erin Schroeder. And Schrader can't bring it in. Trying to get a quick break right off the D. It gives the disc back to Green Means Go. But that time, Tina Titcomb, good read. She's in the lane for the dump pass, and now they're just 5 yards outside, and Schrader to Leathers, 3-0. All-Stars continuing their dominating run in the early of the game.
The aggressive play from the All-Stars looks to be helping them a lot. They want to take shots right away. They're really tight on the dump on defense, and they just want to shoot when they get a turnover. They're not really waiting to set up. They're just looking for the first option they have, and that works out pretty well for them.
Absolutely, and they have the talent to really be comfortable making those shots. A lot of times you really have to teach discipline if you don't trust your 1 through 7, but that's the beauty of the All-Star Tour, I guess. Andrew, you said that the All-Stars are playing quickly and aggressively, but you would think that that's the Green Mean Go's team's kind of strategy. They wanted to be fast and use their athletic players. Are they going to have to adjust their game or just try to speed up to match up with these guys?
Well, Green Means Go is looking to disrupt a lot of plays. They just want to be there, be intimidating, but it seems like the All-Stars are used to playing at that pace. They're used to playing at a high level. They're used to playing shoot, athleticism, not really settled. So Green Means Go might have to actually change the look to maybe make them slow down their offense a little bit more, because they like the fast game. So maybe if you make them play a shorter game, they'll be more successful.
Well, no hesitation in that one as they go deep immediately. 1-2 quick passes, and they find Katie Ryan in the end zone. Katie Ryan, that fast receiver that you called out at the beginning of the game, gets Green Means Go on the first point.
Nikki Ross, who threw that, number 3, she's one of their main throwers. She's got great pulls. She has great deep throws. Really important player for them.
And Nikki Ross is the one who we were told before the game competed in the overall games.
Yeah, Chena Titcomb was saying she and her sister played against the Ross sisters. I think it was in the Worlds of, seemed like different competitions, throwing.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar as it myself, but you know there are a lot of disc sports. I think there is like maximum time aloft and double disc court, and maybe even guts. I know that that is sometimes a big event at some whiff diff stuff. And from what I understand, that kind of background from Nikki Ross really contributes to her deep throws. And as you see her on the line now, set to pull, what they said is her pulls really set up the Green Means Go D-line. And that one, 5 yards in the end zone. Alika Johnson's going to start just outside of her end zone. A longer field to work with. And Cousins trying to go to pick Kathley, but misread, cut her to handler, and Ross sending a deep throw. 2 players behind her, but no problem for Malty McKinnon. And they get their first break of the game and bring this to 2-3. Can't count them out just yet.
It's nice to see Green Means Go trusting their receivers as well. I know it's something we see consistently from the All-Star team. They throw it up. They know their receivers are going to come down with it. It's nice for Green Means Go to be playing with that confidence as well.
Right, and it looks like they decided to just pick up the pace that they wanted to do. They haven't quite changed the game plan, but it's starting to work for them now. And now that they're kind of up to game speed, understand what they need to do out here, and really making short work of their first defensive point. Second defensive point. I guess they started the game on defense.
Yeah, that was a short turn for the All-Stars, and I think Green Means Go needs to capitalize on every short turn that they're going to make. Nikki Ross, now this will be her 3rd point in a row. 1 offense and then 2 defensive points in a row.
And 2 assists in a row for her as well. Really taking control in the backfield. This pull going to be fielded by Schrader again in her end zone. Ball Roos has it 10 yards out.
Looks like another zone by Green Means Go. They came out with it the first point. They look to be doing it again. Very wide cup, forcing the handlers back to the middle.
Yeah, great job slowing down the opening play. The All-Stars have been running a pretty well-designed opening play, and Schrader now has to send it downfield. Scarth unable to get the disc. Great defensive pressure from Vicky Chen there. Gives Green Mean Go another opportunity at a break and a chance to tie this game. Now Ross with it on the sideline. Continues up to that backside and gets it right back. And she strikes deep. Wadlinger's there, has a defender on her back, but Wadlinger makes a great play with 2 defenders there. And the Green Means Go Philly team rushes the field. They're fired up, now tied at 3 and really with the momentum in their control.
Looks like the All-Stars called a timeout, possibly.
Yeah, I think they called a timeout. Their offense has been broken twice. They don't have a lot of numbers, so they're going to want to rest their legs and kind of think about what's going on out there. And their timeout, we're going to take a brief timeout as well. We'll be back in about a minute and a half with the action here in Philadelphia. Welcome back to Philadelphia. The game is tied at 3s right now as the All-Stars are taking on Green Means Go. This game and broadcast an entire tour brought to you by 5 Ultimate and Team Eric. Eric is early recognition is critical. It's a cancer awareness group, nonprofit that is really trying to use Ultimate as its medium to bring awareness of spirit of the game and of just being physically active into schools and into youth around the nation. The earlier that we can recognize and catch the symptoms of cancer, the better chance there is of survival and beating it. So big thanks to them out there for putting this whole thing together for us, as we are in a really tight game here in Philadelphia. How have you been enjoying it, Andrea? It's
been a lot of fun to watch. We'll see if Green Means Go comes out with their transition zone defense again. It's obviously something they practice a lot. The last few plays in a row, they've come down in a zone to start off the pull play, and then I guess after about 20 yards, they're dropping into a man, and they're doing it pretty seamlessly, and they've been able to get some turns off of that, so that's been really exciting.
Stopping that pull play has been real big. The All-Stars have been relying on it a lot. Most teams haven't made a good adjustment to stop it, and credit to Green Means Goes.
Again.
Yeah. Handler goes up line, but we see the zone, and they're working the middle of the field. Schaffner now wants to go to Cousins. She's got a one-on-one matchup. Cousins is on the sideline, and great read, great throw by Schaffner to get it to that outside end. Megan Cousins stops the bleeding, puts the All-Stars back on the board, 4-3, and back in the lead. This game is on serve.
I'm sure the transition zone was something that the All-Stars talked about in their timeout, how they can beat it, how they need to set up upfield to maximize, and just keep playing their game. Want to keep throwing deep, cutting deep. It was a good timeout call by them.
Yeah, it looked like with that zone, once they got they got through the cup in the middle, and there was a lot of open space in the middle. The downfield seems to be more worried about that attacking space on the sideline. And once they get it through the cup, I mean, the whole idea is that the cup will push it to the sideline where the other players are. Once they got it through, they got a couple free passes, and Cousins with a one-on-one matchup downfield. It's going to be a good look for them almost 90% of the time. Gina Titcomb with a rolling pull, and this one gets past the handlers. Having trouble finding that first pass, but they get a big up yard gainer, quick flip to Smith. Continuing down the sideline. Back up to Smith, she's able to run it out. She's got receivers in front of her, but doesn't do anything.
That's smart from her to take the undercut there to Danielle Byers. I like being patient, especially around the end zone.
But Byers trying to go for the around, gets foot blocked by Hannah Leathers, and Sheena Titcomb gets it right back, trying to get Megan Cousins in the middle of the field. Now Smith with a short field opportunity. Hits it up to the middle of the field. Sai with the disc in the center. Haven't been able to get much yards since they got possession. But that shot to the end zone, 2 players there. And it's no problem for Ashley Unn as she's able to score, tie this game up, and keep Philly in this game. It seems like Green Means Go had a little bit of tough time moving the disc from the backfield after they got it. What is their end zone strategy back there?
Well, a lot of times I think they're looking to reset to the dump when they're hitting their cutters, but the All-Stars are playing really tight defense on the handlers. They're not just kind of sagging off and letting the reset go. And that's a little bit more challenging for Green Means Go, forcing them to look upfield a little longer than they might have to, and then the dumps are more covered than they might be used to seeing. So a lot of cutters that don't feel as confident throwing upfield are turning around and seeing the matchup covered, yeah.
Right. And I also feel like there's a pretty common thing with teams that normally score on deep throws don't get into the red zone offense a lot. Sometimes it can be a struggle when you're used to just getting a quick flip in or a long throw. To actually get in that set, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, a lot of the times that happens with fast teams. There's always fast breaks. You have lots of players with you for an easy score. You're not often finding yourself fully matched up 7-on-7 right outside the end zone. But it seems in this game they're both teams are running pretty hard.
Ross with the pull. High and floating. Schaffner takes it right at the sideline. Might have gone out of bounds, but we see that zone. Walrus pops up a backhand over to Johnston. The slow pass allows the cup to set up. That one gets to Schaffner quick, and they're around the cup. Schaffner and Verju playing a little give and go now to Schrader in the middle of the field. Pitcaithley looks like they're trying to transition into a person. There's an unmarked Walrus there. Pitcaithley finds her up line. Walrus in the end zone. And Kate Scarth loses her defender. And an easy pass for Walrus to Scarth. A northwest connection right there.
That was really nice movement from the All-Star team. It's nice to see them not waiting very long. They're catching, throwing right away. They're not standing, looking upfield. It seems like the timing of the cuts upfield is very on point. They always have an option right away. They don't have to stand, and they can't let the zone catch up to them.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that we see more and more as they're getting comfortable playing with each other. First couple games, I can't say that I saw that it was a problem at all, whether they were moving the disc slowly, but it's definitely one of those things. The more comfortable you get with your team, and knowing what your teammates can do, the easier it is to hit that space as a cutter. Walrus pulls for the tourists. Big yards with Smith in the middle of the field, now on the sideline. And that one is just a drop through the hands. A rare mistake from Green Means Go. As the defense takes a while to set up. Walrus and Normal playing that backfield. Now Walrus and Slim. Normal gets back into handler position. And trying to go for the around, well defended, not quite far enough back, and Smith goes immediately. This is going to be a jump ball that we were waiting for. And can't bring it down. That's Katie Ryan in the end zone against 2 defenders.
I think that's a good shot by Smith, taking it right away. That was good help by the All-Star Tour defense.
Lim in the center of the field, and soft mark. That's Smith coming off the handler guard, and 2 quick passes. Now they find Katie Ryan in the end zone.
We've seen Green Means Go playing a little more of a sag defense on the handlers of the All-Star team. That's the opposite of what the All-Star team is doing to Green Means Go, so it's interesting to see how that helped them there. Nicole Smith was way off of her mark and in the lane, and that ended up helping them there, disrupting them.
All right, and Walrus didn't even take a glance over to her wide open reset, just keeping her eyes locked upfield on Virtue. An easy read from the captain, Nicole Smith, there.
A lot of the All-Stars are just coming off playing with each other at U23 Worlds, right? So have you seen that chemistry?
I think you can see it a little bit in the line calling, where a lot of the players who were on the women's side, a lot of players came from the U23 women's side, a couple on the mixed side. But those lineups there already had 2 weeks of training camp and a tournament together. You can definitely see that going on in the offensive line out here. You had Schrader, Schaffner, and Johnston all there. But Kathley and Titcomb were both on the mixed team. So everyone had that London experience, and I think that a little bit, just you're around the players all the time, you're used to what they do, has really helped, especially at the beginning of the tour. Now it's kind of a null point, but at the beginning it was big. So moving downfield, Titcomb has it in the middle of the field. Walrus gets the grab right in front of her defender. Back to Titcomb, around to Schrader on the sideline. Inside break to Schaffner. She's on the sideline, and a backhand all the way across the field. That one's floating. Walrus trying to keep position, and Walrus brings it down in front of her defender. She's pointing at camera 3. She's running all the way down the field. She's brought the disc to the cameraman. What? Oh, I see. It's the cameraman's spike. Rarely seen on the field, but Walrus, a player from the University of Oregon Fugue, finds another Oregon player behind the camera. She was so fired up she didn't want to stop running. Great play by Walrus and an even better spike, I gotta say. If that doesn't fire up the crowd, I don't know what will. I was privy to a little bit of the All-Star Captain meeting before the game, and one of the things they had specifically talked about, they're feeling pretty happy with the way that they're playing, coming off 2 wins. But in the last game, they felt like their energy and excitement and celebration just wasn't there. So we're going to see a very deliberate effort from the Tours today.
I think we definitely saw it in the beginning of the game when there was music and they were dancing around as a warm-up, kind of getting loose, showing that they're very fun, very confident, laughing with each other, dancing in a huddle. Green Means Go was more tight, focused, looking at each other, but it was nice to see that kind of energy from.
And a layout in the end zone. While we're talking, Elaine Saylor makes a great read on that disc. Green Means Go not distracted by the previous play. They came out, and as you said, they were serious. They came out all business on that one. Different styles, and it's really working as they're giving the All-Stars their best games since Denver. Do you get an eye on who threw the disc?
I did not see who that was.
But Saylor made a great grab. That's always a tough read. It was an outside-in throw kind of tailing away from her. And game's tied at 6. Close game in this first half.
It's nice to see the confidence. 2 very young teams, both All-Stars and Green Means Go, lots of young players. That can be tough mentally, whether it's getting over a turnover very quickly and moving on, or just keeping a level of confidence and energy. That's something you don't often see in games against less experienced players, but it's been a really high level in this game so far.
Right, and I wonder if that youth is kind of playing in their advantage, that they feel like they want to play this game that the All-Stars are playing a little bit more, while some of the older teams might want to, just play their game, stay nice and settled, stay nice and calm, but weren't quite ready for what the All-Star team was going to bring. Philly seems very well prepared and very willing to just attack back immediately. Salika Johnson again facing a cup. It's her and Schaffner in the backfield. And Schaffner trying to throw a blade to Walrus. It gets knocked down, and a quick shot trying to get a break to get him in the lead. Can't get it. Vicky Chin reaching for the end zone. She gets the block, picks it up, and can't complete the pass.
That's one of those moments where a little more patience probably would have helped the Green Means Go. It's a big possession, chance to take the lead.
But on the strike deep, that was a good help defense coming off the far side by Malty McKinnon. A second break opportunity, this time with much more field to work with, but maybe they'll be a little bit more careful with the possession. Trying to get the inside break, but great read by Scarth, and she attacks immediately. Schaffner's there, and Schaffner has no problem reeling it in. Already plenty of yards past her defender. And a couple great Ds on both sides, but the All-Stars gets the last one and the goal. The only one that matters.
Something I think the All-Stars do very well is that their handlers are willing to be cutters right away. I know we see Alika Johnson catching goals, Schaffner catching goals. It's very fluid between their handlers wanting to cut up field and also knowing when to come back. And I think that's something they've done well the whole tour so far.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where when you have the cutters who have the throws that a normal handler has and the handlers who have the speed, really everyone they have their preferences, but they can play wherever they want. And that can really lead to a matchup nightmare for the other team, as you think a handler's going downfield, they're going to have to come back eventually, but they just keep going, and now you're 5 yards behind. 7-6 late in the first half. All-Stars have a chance to break to go into half, but Green Means Go not looking like they're ready to give the All-Stars any inch of room at this point. Gina Titcomb set to pull.
Has it mostly been man defense from the All-Stars all tour? I haven't seen much zone.
They run a little bit of a man on handlers and kind of poach from the cutters, and great catch by Ryan. And it's been working for them. But in this person possession, Smith trying to go for the end zone, can't find it. Had plenty of space with Byers, but just misses the throw. To come walking up the line. All-Stars have the possession to take them into half, up a break, and Titcomb trying to go deep, but Smith gets a big foot on it, blocks it, no call on the goal line. Smith has two really good Ds on the goal line to get this team a short field after the turn. With the foot block, she's able to bring it back just a yard outside the end zone. Green Means Go in a handset, and great cut by Katie Ryan, just takes Brereton to the live side, gets upfield, and Nicole Smith doesn't miss that time. As they're able to tie this game 7-7, still on serve in the first half. On the sideline, you can see one of the All-Star players, Stevie Miller, warming up over there. She was absent for this last game in Washington, D.C. against Scandal to attend a wedding for her cousin. It looks like she's just arrived at the field. Stevie Miller is going to be real nice for them to have back on that D-line. She's one of their main pullers and a really good deep defender. I'm sure she's going to match up well with these Philly teams and really open up some of the other players to either play different parts of the field or move over to the offensive side.
The All-Stars seemed pretty excited when she showed up and started warming up. On the Green Means Go side, we just had the crowd get into it with a really big Green Means Go cheer. So hopefully that can give them some energy as well.
Yeah, we're directly across from the crowd. Maybe it's because there's a window in my face, but I haven't heard them that much. So it's 7-7. Team to score this point will take it to half. All-Stars on the offensive possession, again facing that cup. Verju finds Johnson in the middle. Titcomb on the sideline. Verju in the middle again. Around to Scarth. Sounds like a transition into person. Picathley has it in the middle of the field, and Picathley hammers back of the end zone, and Verju can't get a hand on it. Has a defender there. Tough placement from Picathley. Doesn't have a lot of room for real estate back there. Almost drops it in, but Ross is rocking the disc up to the goal line. 7 yards to go up a break into this half. And Ross takes a shot immediately. Picathley's on the backside, and a tie ball game in the catch there. Pick Kathley and McKinnon, both with the disc. A brief discussion, they decide to just send it back. Both players pretty confident they had it first, and on our look at the booth, it's also very close.
It's a nice quick send back, not a lot of talking, no need to just go right back, play on. I like that.
Absolutely. Great spirit from both sides. Just get the play going again. And a pick called from Titcomb. She's coming around on the backfield handler. Now after that first quick deep shot, Green Means Go is playing a little more conservative on the unders. Schaffner trying to get a layout in front of her defender on that goal line. Just can't get over the shoulder. Looks to be a call downfield to stop play a little bit. And Ross gets a backhand off, but not quite enough float. I think she was going for more distance with that backhand to get it in front of her intended receiver. Doesn't quite make it. Schrader on the disc now. Gets the undercut from Picathley. Picathley running out of options, gets the around to Titcomb, and Titcomb has an open receiver downfield. It's her Riot teammate, Jacqueline Verjou. And Jacqueline Verjou gets the goal that time, trying to get all her team out there. It looks like they're going for the team selfie. We're seeing the full arsenal of spikes today. That's just in the first half. I'm excited to see what the second half will bring us here in Philadelphia, as the All-Stars take half 8-7 against Green Means Go. We're going to take a 10-minute half ourselves, come back for the action, for the exciting finish of this game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the All-Star Ultimate Tour. We are here in Philadelphia taking on Green Means Go. The All-Star Ultimate Tour is brought to you by 5 Ultimate and by Eric. Eric does a lot of work with Ultimate. They get middle school clinics. They bring Ultimate into middle school clinics to both teach the game that we all love to watch and play, and to teach about recognizing the early symptoms of cancer and bringing cancer awareness to those kids. If you would like to have a Eric clinic at your middle school or elementary school, check out the website or like us on Facebook. Eric Early Recognition is Critical. We're here in the second half, a close first half, 8-7, and I'm here with Andrea. Well, take us through what's been going on.
Well, there's been a lot of aggressive play on both sides of the field, which has been great to see. Lots of deep looks, lots of successful catches and throws. I think both teams are having a little bit of problem in their short game when they're having to work it under for lots of throws. That's when usually the defense is capitalizing. So I wonder if they're halftime, if they'll switch it up or they'll keep playing aggressively deep. Both teams without a coach. Green Means Go typically has a coach. He's away this weekend. They're also missing some of their top players, a lot of their starters, a few key cutters, and very aggressive players, but it seems to be okay for them so far. They're definitely making up for it.
I know that one of their players that they're missing that the All-Star girls were hoping to play against was Lyra Olson, who was their U23 teammate just a few weeks ago. Lyra is not at this game today, though, so they are missing out on a chance for a little reunion, unfortunately.
Yeah, Lyra, a Princeton grad, as well as Jane Ernheim, who are also missing, another Princeton player. So lots of people know each other playing on both sides, and it's good to see the fun rivalries and college matchups coming out again in this game.
We'll see how that plays out as Green Means Go starting out on offense. The pull from Sturt lands about at the brick, 20 yards in front of the end zone. Ryan with it. Looking to Smith, gets the up line on the inside pass, and she's got 2 players. Goes to the outside sideline. Great layout by Hannah Leathers, but can't get enough pressure on it. Looks like Casey Gorman was able to run it out, and a great put from Nicole Smith coming out of the half.
Green Means Go, they're using their handlers. Obviously, the All-Stars are playing tight on the handlers, not allowing an easy reset, but using that little upfield cut on them and working more dynamically is working for them. One quick cut upfield and then a long shot to the end zone. Their cutters are definitely ready for it. As soon as Green Means Go, handler gets it in a power position, they're taking off and running to the end zone. And it's great for the handlers to have opportunities like that. And
it seemed like that pass to Smith was kind of made available. I don't know if this is a overall defensive adjustment from the All-Stars, but they really were trying to take away that backfield space. A lot of times you can err on being upfield of your dump defender or backfield and kind of push them up. That time they pushed them up into what is a tough throw. It's an up line on an inside flick on the live side. But when she had that space, her defender was on her back and she had a wide open throw to the break side.
It's also a tough throw to make to a handler that's cutting in that position. It's a hard throw, so it's really nice when you do complete that because you get lots of space off of it, lots of good opportunity.
Right, so maybe that's a defensive risk that they're going to want to take, force them into a couple more of those tight windows instead of getting a free reset backfield. The adjustments are going to become so critical as this close game wears on. Nikki Ross set to pull for Green Means Go. She's been doing a great job putting the All-Stars in a tough position. Not able to start out where they want, as you see the cup is already down and pretty set up while the All-Stars start. So Caithley has it in the backfield. Back to Titcomb. And in the middle of the field, kind of a miscue, but Schaffner gets a read on it coming from the back end. Now Schaffner still has it up to Walrus. Up line to Titcomb. On the sideline, she finds Johnston just outside the goal line. Caithley making that cut on the cone, not able to get it. Backfield to Walrus. Scarth in the middle of the field, and Walrus inside flick. A lot of space there for Lisa Caithley.
That was nice upfield movement from the All-Stars. Again, I know we talked about it before, but that was a perfect example. Schaffner starting upfield in a cutter position, is able to get it and then make some handler plays, goes upfield to Alika Johnson, again another handler who's in the cutting position. It's really threatening to other teams to have them be able to be so dynamic.
And when they got that handler from the backfield moving upfield on the upline cut, it opened up that space in the middle of the field. It was an inside break throw, but Walrus was basically throwing it straight across her body, not really having to break the mark at all because all the space was there. So coming out of the half, both teams, good offensive possessions, no turns, and kind of continuing the play that we've seen in the first half where they've just been taking hits at each other back and forth and keeping it close.
Yeah, one of the teams is going to need to probably get a deep D in the end zone to turn this around because it seems like a lot of them are able to score and not getting many turns close to the end zone. It's a lot of midfield turnovers, so some big defensive plays in the goal are going to be key, I think, in the second half.
And we'll see how that backfield help or downfield help starts to work for both sides. It looks like they're facing a junky set from the All-Star defense. Smith on the sideline. Side Smith, some backfield and inside break. Walrus gets a read on it. They're moving quickly. Walrus and Cousins look like they were going to have a matchup advantage, but most of the Green Means Goes players were in good position downfield in front of the end zone. Now Johnston with it. Cousins up line, and Cousins runs it down. Great get by Megan Cousins from Colorado Colley. And the first break of the half extends the lead for the All-Stars 10-8.
Yeah, it looks like the All-Stars taking a little bit out of the Green Means Go book on their defense there, playing off on the handlers, lots of clutter upfield, not able to see their receivers as easily on the Green Means Go side. So.
Right, and you had asked about the All-Stars junk look at the beginning of the game, or in the first half. That was essentially it, where they will play tight man on the handlers, maybe switch if someone comes back, but it's that lane, it's the cutter lane that they're really trying to flood with 3 people in the lane and one player backfield to be ready for the deep shot. That one was just a good read from Walrus in the wall to come across and get it. We'll see if they continue with that junk look. I guess if it works for them now, there's no reason to think it wouldn't work in this next point.
As you can see, Nicole Smith directing a little bit right now, talking to her offense, telling them to move and shift, and probably teaching them a little bit what to do if they see that same junk look. It's great to have a player like her with her experience able to talk to them on the line.
That pull, a long pull from Brereton, caught 10 yards inside the end zone. Smith is set up with about 60 yards to go. Takes a reset pass to Sy. A call downfield, maybe a pick. Slows down the game. Let's tap back in with Sy, and now Smith on the sideline. They've only moved back so far. Looks like the handler guards are content just kind of playing off and really trying to get those throws to go backfield. Ooh, near D by Alika Johnston. Side in the middle of the field, and that might be the one to break it open. The Smith has it, and she's got an open receiver. Byers just outside the end zone, and she's able to turn around to another wide open player, Elaine Saylor. And once they got past that cup with a nice break throw from Sy, it was back to their normal offense, and if that's what they know how to run, they run it well.
Yeah, that's great recognition by the receivers upfield to, as soon as it's given to Smith on the side, they know she's probably going to throw it deep. She's always had great throws. They're cutting towards the end zone, and that's good for them. It looks like the All-Star defense was a little bit slower to react there, not really ready for a big over-the-top throw.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of that is the fact that they weren't transitioning into their person defense when the throws come off, so they still only had Jacqueline Verju as their deep defender back there. And she looked like she was coming all the way across on the other side, like they were trying to force it over to that flick side. So 2 junk looks. Green Means Go makes a great adjustment to bring this game back within 1, but now they're down a break. Down 9-10. The All-Stars could just keep extending the lead by 2. If they trade out for the rest of the game, they'll just end this at 13-15. Pull received by Miller, up to Schrader. Green Means Go responds with their zone of their own. They're still in that cup. Schrader Titcomb didn't have a continued pass when she got it on the sideline. It looks like Green Means Go is transitioning into a person. Their cup stayed just a little longer, and Schrader trying to go upfield to Schaffner. Throws that one into the turf. An opportunity to get this break back, and Knowles takes no hesitation to put it deep. but just too deep.
That's the Nikki Ross backhand. They seem to be living and dying by that. It's great when it's on. That time, I think they could have maybe hesitated another second, but always a really good weapon for Green Means Go to look to shoot that.
But they get set up and on the backfield in the first dump throw. Stevie Miller trying to go to Schrader. Schrader was already making a move backfield. So Ross taking the deep shot opportunity. Now they're in a better position than they would have been. A lot of players on that cone. And a high count gets it to the inside, and that's going to work. A break back as they find Joe Chen in the end zone. Green Means Go putting up a great fight against the All-Stars here in Philadelphia.
Lots of, when I spoke to the captain before the game, lots of what she mentioned was their very defensive team. It's a learning year, lots of young players, great athleticism, talent, and speed. But, I mean, they look like they've playing at a very high level here. It's really great to watch them giving the All-Stars such a good game. It's a pretty good crowd. Has this been pretty standard with this size crowd, or?
It looks like what we've normally had, and I don't think we've had a weekend game in a long time, and especially a daytime game. I think that adds to it. Maybe they're just getting warmed up for the football season coming up in a few weeks. It's Sunday. They want to get out, see some sports. But, yeah, we've been very lucky with the home crowd support throughout the tour, and this one looks no different. And it's always kind of nice that they're in a slightly smaller stadium, so you got that old trick of the camera where it looks like it's, well, it is really, really full out there. And that, I think, just adds to the crowd energy as everyone's shoulder to shoulder back there. I know I don't have the hard numbers on like the crowds that we've had out, but I do think a lot of people would like to hear and see what kind of support people have been doing getting out here for these games. And the first year of the tour, it's been doing quite well.
I know, speaking to Carolyn Normile before the game, she told me that her family's coming, the kids she babysits are coming. So she has some local fans being on the All-Star team. I don't think anyone else is from very close to this area. She is also my teammate on AMP this season, so it'll be great to have her back with us once this tour wraps up.
Right, and there's nothing getting a player after an experience like this. They can change and grow so much in just a couple short weeks. It's a very condensed amount of time with playing great teams, playing with great players. AMP is going to be very lucky to have her back on the squad.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity.
While we're chatting, Green Means Go gets another possession for a break. And there goes Ross stretching it deep. Leathers gets position and almost the sky, but Leathers gets a hand on it. Gives the All-Stars the disc right back. Ross has no hesitation on that backhand. And at the very least gets them a lot of possession, a lot of yards gained for their defensive line. Now Leathers on the sideline. They're moving pretty quickly. Tick coming in the center of the field. Now having to work that backfield space. Gets it to Walrus up line. A Walrus inside shot to Schaffner. What a visionary throw by Walrus to see her Oregon Fugue teammate in the end zone.
It seems that the All-Stars are obviously aware of Nikki Ross's big backhand hucks at this point, and as soon as she's catching it, they're very tight upfield on the receivers. And the Green Means Go receivers don't have the space that they had in the first half to just cut out and deep, because the All-Star Tour made the adjustment and saying, we know she's going to catch it and throw, so we're going to find a person as soon as she's getting the disc, and that's been helping them here in the second half.
Right, the time to start challenging the cutters to maybe stretch it deep but come back for those big gainers. And for Philly, you know, maybe someone needs to have, I think they want Ross to take those shots, but maybe to have her take a quick second before she unleashes it. possession late in this game is going to start getting more and more important as both teams start to tighten up. We're at 10-11 and a game to 15. Margot Sturt out of UCLA set to pull. Sturt has the most recent blog post on the All-Star Ultimate website, allstarultimatetour.com. Go ahead and check it out, which I'm sure you already have since you're watching this live stream. But you can catch the blogs and the thoughts of the players as they're on the tour. And now Shannon Tsai taking the deep shot. A great box out by Elaine Saylor. Able to keep Cousins on her back and with the disc in front of her. It's one of those ones that's not a big sky over the pack, but the work that has to be done on the ground is tough.
Yeah, Elaine Saylor, that's a great read by her. She's a great athlete, really exciting player. What have the practices been like for the All-Star Tour? Do they practice? Do they do fitness, conditioning?
Practices themselves are pretty non-existent. We don't have a lot of time at the fields or while we're traveling. So it's just the warm-ups. But I know a lot of players take it upon themselves when we have an afternoon or a morning before we start our long drives to go and get a run in. Most of these players have a club team to return to coming at the end of the tour. So they are, even though they're playing a game every couple of days, it's certainly a different type of conditioning, and they want to be ready to return to their teams and come back full force, having not missed a beat. I know that us and the crew could really take a page out of some of their books with the warm-ups or the warm-ups and the conditioning outside. We don't ever really get to be on that field.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough having to watch people run around and then drive and then watch people run around again. I'm sure you guys are itching to run around yourselves.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm cooped up in the booth, but it'll get to you. Fortunately, we all had a little break at the Colorado Cup and got to play with their teams. I know that was a big turning point for most people on that tour to get over the hill of break with the team and then be full on with their players. So the All-Star offense at a tie game, trying to keep their lead. A lot of long passes as they got up the field very quickly. Now getting into that red zone set, and Lisa Bickathley hits the turf and makes the grab. Walrus a second assist, feeding that inside flick. She's really good at putting the pace on there and getting it into the players in some small windows.
That time the under game worked well for the All-Star Tour. Lots of undercuts, but all for yards and all with immediate options right away.
Well, and did that disc move upfield so quickly because Green Means Go came out with a person defense?
It was junk, but it looked like a little bit, they called it off a lot quicker. I think that's because it was broken right away by Schaffner to Alika, and then quick dish cuts.
Yeah, normally we get to see a lot of that cup keep the disc backfield, but they were up quick. Now at 12-11, still up a point. They're comfortable with the lead, but All-Stars are going to need a break to really take control. Green Means Go doesn't want to let that up. They've kept it this far. Why not just finish the game and maybe sneak a win in there?
That would be fun to see, this home crowd. Where do you guys travel to next?
Coming up next is New York. We're going to be taking on Bent tomorrow night. Yeah, these last 4 games are 4 days in a row, so we're in Had that game yesterday afternoon in D.C., this afternoon in Philadelphia. We'll travel to New York and finish it off in Boston. Oh, Scuba over the top from Smith. Gets it over the zone, but it doesn't get them much of a gain as it went back to Smith in the middle of the field. Now Cy and Smith playing a little give and go back there. Still can't quite get in front. Sagging on the handlers, poaching in the wall. And that one's almost got past the handler, but they weren't able to get that second pass again. Center of the field at Gleason. And what a D by Megan Cousins. Poaching off Cy and gets a read on it. Short field from Cousins. Great defensive play. She had a great game in DC. And Steph Lim is going to find Jacqueline Verjou for the goal, but the team is giving all the credit to Megan Cousins as she made that break happen with phenomenal defense on the reset.
Yeah, I think the junk really worked for the All-Stars there. They were very patient, not trying to overcommit to a handler right away, letting them work it, not for much gain, and then jumping at it at exactly the right time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm really basing this on the one game that I'm seeing from Green Means Go, but Sarah Gleason had the disc on the middle of the field, and I feel like she's more of an upfield player. A lot of the backfield movement has been from Cy and from Smith, and they've been doing very well keeping the possession, but sometimes getting it into players who aren't comfortable being in that backfield and maybe not comfortable seeing that zone, or they're seeing the junk from a different side. It was just enough for Cousins.
Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't seen Gleason. I don't know her to be much of a handler. I know she's new on Green Means Go this season, but I've seen her cut a lot. She's got a lot of speed. They had her in a handler position there, but it could be now with the junk they're pulling a third handler back who might not be as comfortable as Smith and Cy.
Well, now Green Means Go's offense facing a 2-point deficit. Their D-line has been able to get breaks, so if they can get the goal and keep going, this game is still in their grasps. Ross with it now on an offensive line. Maybe they want to pull another handler from the D-line and Ross. It's been Ross, Chin, and Smith in the backfield. Now Smith gets it upfield, off to Ross, and she's going to take a shot. Her receiver's got a couple yards. Brereton is there, and Brereton gets the inside look, has a lot of space to cover in the air, and Casey Gorman did not have much of a chance at that one. Steph Lim bringing this to the goal line. Lim from Stanford, the Callahan nominee this year, has been the mainstay from the handler on the D-line, always getting the disc and bringing it up to the goal line when they get those blocks in the end zone. Now a lot of space, but Sturt trying to go around to Miller as Miller was going upfield. Doesn't get it. Ross with the disc upfield to Smith. Smith wants to take it, trying to hit it to the other side of the space. Another big defender with Jacqueline Verjou, and she's able to go at it strong, knock it down. But great job by Malty McKinnon to really attack that disc.
Yeah, that was great. I like that she jumped into it, ran into the play like that. It's a nice throw by Smith, but obviously Verjou back there is quite a defender, quite good in the air.
Right. She was not only trying to get it upfield, but also trying to go across the length of the field, across the face of the field, just adding a little bit more distance to the throw that doesn't quite get where she needs it to be. Now Miller on the sideline. All-Stars looking to extend this lead late in the game with another break. Sturt, big fake to Bitcathley. Bitcathley on the sideline. Gets the inside to Verjou. Verjou goes the backhand to Sturt. And Margot Radar Sturt runs downfield, no problem. She's bringing this one all the way to the fake layout. Can't quite get up to the goalpost to slam it down, but they're very happy. Oh, it was a two-parter. I'm sorry, it was a two-part celebration. Lisa Becaithley stood in as the goalpost to be slam dunked on.
There are lots of break throws at that point. I think the Green Means Go had a forehand force on, but the All-Stars were able to move it around, move it up the break side pretty quickly, and then obviously to finish that point. Lots of backhand breaks around. Seems the Green Means Go mark might be a little flat upfield.
Right, and I mean, even then, the backhand was initially opened up from an inside flick, still directly up on that side. I think one of the most apparent things about this tour that I've noticed is, and we mentioned this before, in kind of the dynamics of everyone on the team, the skills of throwing from across the board, top to bottom of the roster, is on average going to be better than most of the teams that they're going to play, and really opens up looks that might not be there for a normal team because everyone is going to be confident and comfortable hitting that break space. It's one of those things that you see pretty often when as players start playing younger and younger. Their quality of throws when they come in really changes the game.
Yeah, you definitely see it showing. They're doing a great job of working it around, being patient. Green Means Go is taking a little more risks, especially deep, and obviously that worked for them in the second half, but now they've switched up their styles of play a little bit.
Well, now Green Means Go offense needing to score to keep this game going, down 11-14. Quick give and go to Al-Adel Kareem, and she strikes for the end zone. Katie Ryan had a tough time reading that disc. She was going to make a in-cut at it and maybe attack it early. Saw that it had a lot of pace, and the pace took it all the way to the back of the end zone. So Steph Lim bringing the disc up, 70 yards to go to end this game for the All-Stars, trying to end it on a break. Gets to Cousins on the break. Had Miller, but slips up on the pivot. Can't get it. Verju back to Lim. Lim crossfield to Titcomb. Titcomb moving her mark well off her with a big backhand fake. And there's Sturt reaching in the end zone. Verju doesn't have a lot of room, but she lays out, catches it. And looks like they're going to call her out. In? Out. Out. Green Means Go has the disc. Great play by Verju. Didn't have a lot of space there. That'll be a great one to get another look at. As of now, Green Means Go is moving to the sideline, and Hannah Leathers, great defense on the reset, but misses the easy throw. Megan Cousins was wide open in the end zone. They're going to want...
Seems the All-Stars are a little excited to try and end the game. Not maybe playing as patiently as they were in the beginning.
Yeah, they certainly had tightened it up when the game was closer, but now a little more comfortable to take risks. And it seems the same for Green Means Go, as they've kind of shied away from their deep looks. They don't have some of their big, deep throwers out. And Ross and Smith. Sy with it in the middle of the field. There's that up line. No continue off it, though. Gets to the sideline. She doesn't run it out into the goal line, just outside. And Chen inside throw. Able to get the break to Mel. Well, Al-Adel Kareem. And I'm thoroughly impressed, Andrew.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, it'll work, right? We'll take it.
Well, it's interesting. We saw them do the give and go with the handlers, and they didn't take a shot to the end zone directly off it, but they were able to kind of attack the outside of the field.
Yeah, it looked like they weren't really waiting for upfield as much. They were getting it off right away, which is probably useful for them because the more time they wait, the more time the All-Stars have to set up, find their person, and they're not as frazzled. Whereas when Green Beans Go is pushing the pace and moving the disc a lot faster, it seems to be helping them a lot.
Now it looks like they're really taking the time to set up the D-line that they're going to need to keep them alive in this game. It's 12-14. An offensive hold will end the game for the All-Stars. Green Means Go, he has kept it close all game. Kind of let the All-Stars extend a lead late, and let's see if they can reel it in, tighten up this game, or if the All-Stars are going to continue their winning ways.
Is this a little bit of a different line for the All-Stars on offense? I know Normile, Cathely, Schaffner has been playing a lot, but there's no...
Yeah, it looks like
Alika.
Normile and Carolyn Normile and Beck Brereton on that line is a little different than their normal offensive personnel. But the team is trying to get playing time spread out evenly across, so everyone's legs are pretty equally tired at the end of the day.
I know Green Beans Go is trying to do the same thing, trying to give everyone a lot of experience in this game.
Well, a deep pull, and we see the cup again. The Schaffner in the backfield having to play against it, gets a flick blade around to Schrader, now to Scarth. It looks like they've transitioned out of the cup pretty quickly. In a person defense, Walrus to Scarth on the sideline. Back to Walrus, now they're gonna move it across the field. Schrader in the middle of the field to Schaffner. And Schaffner floats it up there for Scarth. Scarth is gonna run it out, no problem. Kate Scarth from the University of Victoria ends this game 15-12. And what a game from Philly Green Means Go. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed by the way the game went.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch and talk about. I thought it was a great job from both teams. Great effort physically. Lots of good throwing, lots of good defense. It was a really great game all around.
Yeah, and the first close game that the All-Stars have had since Denver, since they've lost. It's nice for them to kind of get one of those, feel the pressure again. I'm curious to see how they're going to respond as they move on tomorrow night to New York to take on Bent. I'll be there. Andrea, unfortunately, you won't be traveling with us.
Yeah, my stint in the tour ends here, but appreciate you having me.
It's been a pleasure having you here. It's always nice to have a local voice giving us the inside scoop on the broadcast. And this broadcast was done with the help of our camera operators, Tyler Cable, Angela Toki, and Mario Bundy. Our instant replay operator, Suni Haley. Director Vin Bowie, our executive producer, Kevin Minderhout. Big thanks for him helping out on the tour. Of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors, 5 Ultimate and Eric. Early recognition is critical. Be sure to find them on Facebook and on their Twitter and website pages. I'm Topher Davis. I'll be here for the last 2 games here on the Ultimate Tour. Thank you for joining us.